The Crypts of Winterfell. Just saying the name summons images of darkened stone corridors, the flicker of torchlight casting long shadows, and the weight of centuries pressing down like the northern snows. These ancient tombs, carved deep beneath the heart of House Stark's ancestral seat, hold more than just the bones of lords long dead. They whisper of forgotten history, lingering secrets, and perhaps even dark magic that the living have only begun to glimpse. To understand what might truly lie hidden in these crypts, we must journey through the blood-soaked history of the North and the enigmatic origins of House Stark itself. Winterfell itself is ancient, older than the Wall and far older than the Iron Throne. According to legend, it was Brandon the Builder, the legendary founder of House Stark, who raised the first stones of Winterfell in the aftermath of the Long Night. The crypts beneath, however, may be even older still, their roots stretching back to the Age of Heroes, or perhaps even the Dawn Age, when the first men first clashed with the mysterious Children of the Forest. Built to house the remains of the Stark Kings of Winter, the crypts are more than just a resting place. They are a testament to the blood of the first men and the ancient power that still lingers in the North. The layout of the crypts is striking in its design. Stone steps spiral downward through the earth, their edges worn smooth by centuries of passing feet. Row upon row of granite tombs stretch into the darkness, each marked with the likeness of a long-dead Stark, their stone faces grim and solemn, with iron swords laid across their laps. These swords are said to keep the restless dead in their graves, an old superstition that feels uncomfortably real when the icy winds of the North howl through the cracks in the stone. The deeper one goes, the older the tombs become, their carvings rougher, their inscriptions harder to read, as if time itself resists recalling their names. Yet, for all their apparent stillness, the crypts pulse with an uneasy energy. Even the Stark children, raised on tales of duty and honor, feel the weight of their family's past when they walk among the dead. Jon Snow, in particular, senses it, a coldness that goes beyond the chill of stone, a watchfulness that lingers in the air. Bran Stark, in his dreams, glimpses something older and darker, an awareness that seems to stir in the very bones of Winterfell itself. Perhaps this is fitting, for the Starks themselves are as much a part of their harsh, ancient land as the very stones of their keep. And there are whispers of something more sinister hidden within these halls. Maesters and septons speak of the dead, but in the North, the line between the living and the dead has always been thin. The Stark words, "Winter is coming," carry a sense of foreboding that stretches far beyond mere weather. It hints at a return, a resurgence of ancient powers, and perhaps even an undead awakening that would make those ancient swords more than mere decoration. The crypts also serve as a powerful symbol of House Stark's unbroken connection to their ancient lineage, one of the oldest in Westeros. Each lord entombed here, from the great kings of winter to the more recent lords of Winterfell, stands as a reminder of the bloodline that has ruled the North since the Age of Heroes. But it's not just the past that echoes through these halls, it's the future too. The Stark children, like Jon, Robb, Sansa, Arya, Bran and Rickon, are haunted by the sense that they too will someday take their place in these shadowed halls, their faces carved in stone, their stories etched into the cold granite of history. Yet, what truly sets the Winterfell crypts apart is the unsettling possibility that they are more than mere graves. The iron swords, meant to hold restless spirits in place, hint at a deeper fear, that these kings of winter are not merely remembered, but somehow still bound to the living world. The North has a long tradition of ghost stories and wraiths, of the dead walking beneath the cold, pale light of the moon. In a world where the dead can rise, as seen beyond the wall with the Whites and their Night King, the fear that something in the crypts might awaken is not so far-fetched. Consider the words of old Nan, that ancient weaver of tales, who often spoke of darker things than dragons and southern wars. She whispered of the long night and the White Walkers, of cold winds and darker magics that have always stalked the northern reaches of the world. If her stories hold even a grain of truth, then the crypts might be more than just resting places. They could be a vault, a prison for the dead, or worse, a slumbering power awaiting the right moment to rise again. There's also a strange sense of awareness tied to the crypts. Bran Stark, in his green dreams and warg abilities, often finds his mind drawn to these dark, echoing halls. As his power grows, so too does his connection to Winterfell's ancient heart. This bond suggests that the crypts might serve as a kind of psychic conduit, a place where the old magic of the First Men lingers still, waiting for a Stark with the right blood and the right power to awaken it. After all, the Starks have always had a special relationship with the Old Gods and the Weirwood Trees, both symbols of an older, more primal magic that predates even the Targaryens' fire and blood. And then there are the mysteries of the crypt's lower levels, the deeper unmarked chambers where even the living Starks fear to tread. What lies beyond those last shadowed corridors, where the stone is ancient and the air is heavy with the dust of forgotten centuries? Some suggest that the very foundations of Winterfell might be intertwined with the magic of the First Men, that beneath the crypts lie secrets too dangerous to uncover, powers too ancient to disturb. It's a tantalizing thought that the very heart of House Stark's power, the stone that supports the weight of their vast keep, might be steeped in the magic of the long dead. And then there are the statues themselves, each Stark Lord carved in the likeness they bore in life, with cold, staring eyes and stern faces frozen in perpetual watchfulness. It's said that these statues guard the crypts, their iron swords preventing restless spirits from rising. But if the swords are meant to bind, then what exactly do they hold in place? Could it be that these statues are not merely symbols of memory, but anchors for a darker magic, a binding spell to hold the dead in their graves? In a world where the bones of the dead can be raised by the touch of ice and shadow, this ancient practice might not be just a superstition, but a desperate defense against a forgotten threat. This theory gains weight when you consider the peculiar dreams that plague the Stark children. Jon Snow, who has always felt like an outsider, often dreams of the crypts, of walking among the dead, the eyes of the statues following him as he passes. These dreams carry a chill, a sense of foreboding that hints at a deeper connection between the living and the dead Starks. Bran's visions too seem to tug at this same thread, a deep, ancestral memory that calls to him from the depths of Winterfell, as if the very stones remember the old days when the Starks were kings and warriors, bound to the north by blood and sacrifice. And then there's the question of what lies beneath the deepest levels of the crypts. We know that the known sections of the crypt extend far into the earth, but there are hints in the text that they go even deeper. Some fans speculate that at the very bottom of these shadowed halls, past where the iron swords have rusted away to uselessness and the stone steps crumble into dust, there might lie something truly ancient. Perhaps even a remnant of the Great Other, the dark counterpart to the Lord of Light, or an ancient connection to the White Walkers themselves. It's possible, too, that the crypts hold secrets about the Long Night and the battle that ended it. The First Men and the Children of the Forest fought a desperate war against the White Walkers, and it's said that they used strange, old magics to finally drive them back into the icy wastes. Could the Crypts of Winterfell be one of those ancient weapons? A final line of defense should the darkness ever return? If so, these Starks' ancient words, "Winter is coming," take on an even more chilling meaning. A reminder not just of the cold, but of the ancient war that has never truly ended. Of course, this all remains shrouded in the mists of legend and half-remembered history. George R.R. Martin's world thrives on mystery and the haunting echoes of forgotten lore, and the Crypts of Winterfell stand as a powerful symbol of that lost age. A reminder that even in a world filled with dragons, shadowbinders, and faceless assassins, the greatest mysteries often lie right beneath our feet, waiting to be uncovered. And while the crypts are shrouded in darkness and death, they also carry an undeniable aura of power. The Starks themselves are tied to this power, their blood said to carry the old magic of the North. This connection might explain why so many Stark children are drawn to the crypts in their dreams, why the dead seem to whisper to them across the centuries. Even Ned Stark, a man known for his practicality and honor, feels the weight of these ancient halls, often visiting them for quiet reflection, as if seeking the counsel of his long-dead ancestors. It's worth considering the role that blood plays in this connection. In the world of Westeros, blood has power. It carries memory, magic, and strength. The Stark bloodline, descending from the first men, is one of the oldest and purest in the realm, a direct line to a time when humans carved their stories into stone and sang to the old gods beneath the weirwoods. This ancient power might be what keeps the crypts themselves alive in the minds and dreams of the Stark children, a living bond that defies the passage of time. And what of the darker possibilities? Could it be that the crypts hold more than just the bones of kings? Some speculate that the deepest, most forgotten chambers might house dark relics, or even the remains of beings older than the Starks themselves. Perhaps the bodies of the original others, the icy lords who once brought death to the world of men. If this is true, then the Crypts of Winterfell are not just a monument to Stark pride and tradition, but a dangerous vault, a hidden prison where something ancient and terrible still slumbers. We must also consider the possibility that the crypts hold clues to the true nature of the Long Night. The children of the forest, in their desperate alliance with the First Men, might have left behind powerful charms or blood magic woven into the very stone of Winterfell. This could explain why the Stark bloodline, with its ancient roots, remains so closely tied to these haunted halls. If Winterfell is indeed a fortress against the darkness, then its crypts might hold the key to the final battle, a truth hidden in shadow, awaiting the day when winter truly comes. In the end, the Crypts of Winterfell stand as a testament to the enduring strength of House Stark, a house that has weathered countless winters, survived the fall of kings, and endured the betrayals of time. But they are also a reminder that in the world of Westeros, the past is never truly dead, and the shadows of history are always waiting to rise again. Whatever secrets lie beneath Winterfell, one thing is certain. The crypts are a place where the living walk in the footsteps of the dead, where old ghosts whisper of coming storms, and where the bones of kings still stand their silent watch over the north. In the end, the Crypts of Winterfell remain one of the greatest mysteries of the north, a place where stone and shadow whisper of forgotten battles, lost kings, and the blood-soaked roots of House Stark. They are a place of power, a reminder that the dead are never truly silent, and that the past, no matter how deeply buried, can never be fully forgotten. The Stark words, "Winter is coming," echo, with a deeper meaning in those dark halls, a warning not just of snow and ice, but of ancient forces that have always stirred beneath the frozen earth. As the long night approaches once more, one cannot help but wonder what will rise from the crypts when winter finally comes. Are they merely tombs, or something more? A final line of defense against the darkness, a hidden weapon against the great other, or perhaps a chilling reminder that the true enemy has always been closer than anyone realized. In a world of fire and blood, it is the cold, quiet places, the shadowed halls of Winterfell's crypts, that may hold the key to the final struggle. And so, as we leave the crypts behind, climbing the worn steps back into the light of day, we are left with a lingering question. If the North remembers, what exactly does it remember? And what will it do when those memories awaken once more? Until then, the statues will keep their silent vigil, the iron swords rusting slowly across their laps, and the ancient dead of House Stark will wait, as they always have, for the coming of winter.